What up, everybody? Welcome back to the Needing Art channel. Today we're going to be recreating the WWE Elimination Chamber 2022 poster to the best of our abilities in the quickest amount of time that we can, because I don't want to spend all day on this. Also, I'm not going to be able to recreate it 100% accurate because I am not, the best artist in the world. But let's go ahead and start by making this a new layer at 1300. Oops, definitely don't want it to be that big. 1300 by 1733. Let's go ahead and change our resolution to 300. And first things first is I'm going to create a solid color background, and I'm just going to kind of match this color right here, and then I'm going to drag it down, make it darker. It doesn't have to be perfect or anything, because this layer might not even ever be seen. So yeah, there's that. Next, we're gonna go ahead and open up our sky. I got this from Pixels. Thanks Donald Tong for the clouds. So we're gonna drag this onto our canvas, and we're gonna hit Control T to resize this. And we're just going to resize it till it looks the way that we want it to look. It doesn't have to be perfect, because it's not going to be no matter what we do. So I'll just leave it like this for now. And yeah, there's that. Okay, so I can name this cloud. Doesn't matter what we name it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a hue and saturation adjustment layer, and I'm going to clip it by hitting this to our clouds, and then I'm just going to drag the saturation down until it looks the way that I want it to look. Sure. And that's how it's looking. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do it with curves. I'm going to clip it there, and I'm going to bring it down until it's like right here in the middle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another hue and saturation, and I'm going to clip it to the clouds, and we're going to bring it up and try to get that purple color. So keep it at 60. I like that. Then I'll do another curves adjustment level, and I'll clip it there, and I'll just kind of make it so, I don't know, where do we want it? I don't want it to be like, I'll keep it right there. I'll keep it like that. And then the next step, honestly, is adding the city. And I don't have the greatest render or background or whatever you want to call this city of Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. So I'm just going to bring it on into our canvas, and now I'm going to bring Brock into our canvas. I don't have this exact picture of Brock, so we're going to flip him horizontally. You can do that by hitting Control T and then right clicking and hit horizontal, or you can go to image rotation, whichever you prefer. I do both sometimes. Alright, we got him in our canvas. I'm going to convert him to a smart object, and then I'm going to just try to kind of size him to how he looks in the poster, which, it doesn't have to be exact because we're not getting paid for this. So yeah, now we can resize our city a little bit until it looks the way we prefer it to look. And I guess this is how we're gonna roll with it, how it looks right here. I'm gonna grab my soft round brush, make this a little bit bigger, and I'm gonna kind of paint away a little bit until it starts looking exactly the way that I want it. I might bring my flow down more, and I'm gonna resize my brush when I come in around these fireworks. So then I'm gonna just kind of come over here like that, and I'm gonna make my brush smaller again, and I'm gonna just come through here, and I'm gonna paint some more. And I mean, this doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to look the way way that we want it to look, which I guess is not perfect. So we'll do this. And what I might do is I might grab a powder brush. So let me grab a powder brush and let me bring that white back in, and I'm going to bring the opacity down, and I'm just going to come and click there, click here maybe, and for now I'll come back to it maybe later, but for now I'm going to keep it like that. And yeah, next I'm going to create a selective color layer, and I'm going to bring the magentas up like 8, and then I'm going to bring the blacks down. I'm cool with that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start painting. So I'm going to bring green color. We can do that. And I'm going to click in this mask here, and I'm going to hit Control I. That's going to get rid of it all. And then I'm going to turn this blend mode here to color dodge. And I'm going to make sure my color is white, and I'm going to bring my opacity back up, but we can keep that 50% or whatever we have. I'll go back, yeah, 56 is fine. And I'm just going to come down the bottom here, and you know, maybe I want my flow down a bit more. So I'm going to just kind of over here, you know, I don't necessarily like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the opacity down, and then I'm just going to paint, like, see kind of underneath these lights here, there's like green, and it looks like the water is a bit green too. But yeah, like over here by these lights, there's some green, and these trees look green. So we'll just kind of get these trees, and then I'll duplicate this to see how that looks. Yeah, that's a bit too much. I'm gonna bring that down. And then we can do like a blue. Maybe we can do a blue. No, there's like more yellow. I'll add a little blue, I guess. Oops. Let's add like a little dark blue. And we can do like soft light. And remember to hit Control I in here. And then, so right here, we can kind of bring some blues. Yeah, so you can see over here, there's like some blues. So we can bring that in by just clicking same brush as before. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect because I don't know what just happened there. Yeah, so just kind of click around till it looks the way we want it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some yellow. Kind of like a, yeah, I mean, that works. Bring it down a little bit more like an orangish yellow. And what we'll do is we'll set that to overlay, and we'll hit Control I again, and we'll bring our opacity up. And what we'll do is we'll come down here because these lights have orange on them. It looks to me, and then we can bring these. We can put more orange in these fireworks. So we can do the same up here. Although it looks like they cut these out in the final poster and added some other ones. So I'll add some of this to the trees actually to bring them out more. So I'm just gonna click down here by these lights and these trees, and maybe I'll go under there like that to just make it more vibrant. Click on this building here, maybe this one, and yeah. Now we can add the elimination chamber. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this into our canvas. It's gonna be way too big initially, and I'm going to you know what, I'm gonna flip this because it looks, that big light right here is like on the right side or on the left side. So I'm gonna hit Control T, flip horizontal, and now I'm gonna size this to a about the size that it is. On the official poster, it looks to be like, I guess about that big. I will keep it like that, and I'm gonna turn this to linear dodge. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab like a levels adjustment layer. So I'm gonna go down here, click levels, then I'm gonna clip it to the chamber, and I'm gonna bring the blacks up just a bit. 10. And then I'm gonna bring the whites up a bit too. So yeah, bring this down. I guess let's just do 10. Let's do 10. 10's cool. I'm cool with 2. I'm cool with 10 if you're cool with 10. And then I kind of fumble my words. So we're gonna duplicate this, and we're gonna bring this one up here, and then we're just gonna, you know, turn that to soft light. How about that? Will that work for you? It works for me. And you know, if it works for me, it should work for you. So what we could do here is we could add, we need to add this into a group and kind of get rid of the stuff that doesn't belong. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add a, yeah, I'm gonna add that to a group. So sorry, let's add this to a group, and let's grab our soft round brush, and oops, let's bring our flow up a bit more, and let's make sure we have black selected, and we'll just we'll eyeball this, but we'll paint it to the way that we want it to look. So we're getting rid of all this extra background that we don't need, that we don't want. Yeah, so we'll just get rid of all this nonsense, and it looks like maybe they cloned that other stuff, but you know, we'll just paint across it ever so slightly like that, and no one will ever know. Okay, so keep doing that. That's pretty much what they did. They didn't go crazy with their cutting. It looks like they kind of took the easy way out there. And now I'm gonna add, like, it looks like they have like some like solar flares. So I'm gonna grab a flare, and we'll use this throughout. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this into our canvas, and I'm gonna hit Control T, and I'm gonna flip that like 90 degrees, and I'm gonna bring that here, and we're gonna make it do what it do, because it looks like it's on these doors up here. So what we'll do is we'll hit screen, and I'm going to zoom in so I can get this exactly the way that I want it to look. So let's image, or I mean, not image, never image. We'll just put these on the doors like that, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to bring that down some more so it doesn't look too insane, but Photoshop is acting ridiculous, so there. Now what I'm going to do is zoom out, obviously, and I'm going to create a hue and saturation layer, and I'm going to clip it here, and I'm going to hit colorize, and since it's yellow, we're going to drop that up to 100, and I'm going to bring it down and try to find the yellow. I'm going to go with that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a levels adjustment layer and get rid of some of that unwanted. You see how there's like this discoloration. Now if we bring the blacks up, we'll basically get rid of those. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these by clicking shift and clicking on them. I'm going to hit Control J. Now I've duplicated that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this over here, and I'm going to hit Control T, and I'm going to hit flip horizontal, and hopefully get a kind of a different feel on this door. And our flares are a bit too big, so now I'm going to add these to a group. I'm going to hit Shift, and then I'm going to name this Flares on Chamber. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start resizing these a bit. I don't have the exact flares that they used in this design, I don't think, so that looks about right. But I'm going to grab this second one and I'm going to move this over, and then I'm going to create a layer mask, and I'm just going to paint this extra unneeded on the flares. We don't need all that, so this one can be named Chamber. Let's see, what do we want to do here? Do we want to bring this up some more? No, we don't. But we do want to get rid of more of that background, so yeah, let's get rid of that. Okay, now let's move on. I think the next step would honestly be to grab this like burst that's behind Brock Lesnar. So I'm gonna grab this burst, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just kind of change the color of it, you know, make it not so crazy. And the way we could do that is we can, you know, desaturate it. This is way too big, so we're gonna have to resize it, and resize it a lot. So what we'll do is we're just gonna do this here. Still way too big. That might be cool right there. And what we'll do is we'll just set that to like, I guess, the screen, and it's kind of like right above his eye, right? And maybe a little bit smaller than that, I'm not sure. But what we'll do is we'll do like a hue saturation, and we'll clip it to it, and we'll hit colorize, and we'll just try to get that yellow out of there and bring that up to like 63. And then what we'll do is we'll do another hue saturation to bring the color out completely. So yeah, not the way I expected this to look, because it's too big, I think, is the main issue. But yeah, I'll just, you know, I'm not too stoked on it, but it is what it is. Now I'm going to do a hue saturation and see what I can do with these magentas, and see if I can kind of make them not so crazy. Let's see how that looks. So, you know, I don't know. I kind of like it. Yeah, I like it like that. So we'll keep it like that. We'll do some like color, fix the color stuff later. Like add some like solid colors and start using our paintbrush. I mean, I guess we could do that now. We can do that now. It is what it is. Alright, so let's do like a pinkish color. Like a bluish purple, maybe. And then we'll just do that. And we will set this to color. And then what we'll do is we'll grab another powder brush and kind of paint like here. Oops, we need our color to be white, by the way. And then we can we can just paint like here, here. Keep it like that, I guess. And then we can do another one. We can do like a peach, like a I don't know, like that. And then we can maybe set this to color too, and then we can do the same thing. So maybe overlay. Let's try overlay. So I kind of like that, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff, but I'm just gonna play with the blending mode a little bit. So we have screen, we have lighten, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring the opacity down. No, I'm gonna keep the opacity up, but I'm gonna grab our black brush and I'm just gonna paint over here like this. And then what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna add the fireworks. Okay, let's add the fireworks. So screen, and then we'll turn the blend mode to screen, and we'll resize this. Rotate it a bit, and that's about how it looks right there. And then we'll bring this below Brock, and then we'll bring that down, and we'll add like a layer underneath this, so like some green. Whatever we want to vivid light, and we can just kind of go like that, and then we can kind of just turn that down just a little bit until it looks the way we want it. So we got that, and then what we're gonna do with these fireworks is I'm just gonna duplicate this layer, and I'm gonna bring these fireworks down like below the elimination chamber, and I'm gonna rotate them a bit, and like that, and then I'm gonna resize it. It's like right here, and yeah, that's about right. Then I'm gonna duplicate the original one, and I'm gonna bring that down to the building, the skyscraper. I don't know what it's called. Don't hate me, but I'm not too familiar with skyscrapers, so just kind of do whatever we do to get it the way we want it to look. And then what I'll do is I'll hide this, I'll go up here, I'll create a layer mask, and I'll make sure that we have a soft round brush, make sure our color is black, and we'll just get rid of this unnecessary like discoloration, and we'll do the same up here. And we'll just kind of get rid of that. Now we have to do the same here, so we'll just come up here and we'll get rid of that, and then we can rotate this. So I don't think that's exactly the way that it should be. And then like I'll just keep it like that. I don't really care a whole lot about it. And then I would say the next step would be to like add this it's kind of like color underneath or above Brock, this color. So what we'll do is we'll create a new layer and we'll grab black as a color, and what we'll do is we will make our flow 50% and we'll just paint black like this. And then I'll just duplicate this and I'll hit blending options and I'll do color overlay and I'll select like this color here, and then what I'll do now is I'll rasterize I'll right click, I'll rasterize the layer and I'll hit screen and I'll bring the opacity down like that. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring the Elimination Chamber logo in and kind of get this going here. So we got our logo, so we can just hit Control T or go to edit, and then we'll just size this down to kind of how it looks on the official poster. And yeah, I think our city needs to be up a bit, so we can go grab our city. And we can kind of move all that up and over. I think our city's a bit too big, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I can kind of fix this here. If you're not paying attention, I just resized that and eliminated some of it with a layer mask. Okay, so now we got our logo, and I'm going to resize that yet again, and I'm going to bring this up here, and I'm going to create a exposure clipping mask, and I want to kind of expose that a bit to bring out that yellow some more. With that, and it looks like we got another lens flare that's like behind that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go grab that again and just move this back onto our canvas. Remember to set the blend mode as screen, and I'm gonna bring this underneath the logo, so it looks like theirs is pretty big. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a human saturation adjustment layer, bring this up to 100. And then what I'm gonna do again is I'm gonna create a levels adjustment, and I'm gonna bring the blacks up so we kind of get rid of that nonsense that is kind of there. We have that, and it looks like there's honestly another one, so I'm gonna hit Control J and I'm gonna resize this one, and kind of just like a super small one, and I'll just leave it like that for now. And it looks like there's kind of like some bokehs or like lens flares or whatever. What I'm gonna do to I'm not gonna go online and find anything extra. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to brush settings, and I'm gonna go to shape dynamics, and I'm gonna turn the size jitter up to 100. I'm gonna click scattering, and I'm gonna do this to like the scatter like 400. I'll leave it at like 70. Leave it like that. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click here, and I'm gonna kind of sample this color right here, the lightest color. And I'm gonna bring that up. And now what I'm gonna do is in this layer here, I'm going to start painting. Oh no, we don't want black, so we'll change our color. big as far as size goes. So we'll bring that down and we'll just, and then we can bring this up. And what I'll do here is I'll just play with the blend mode a little bit. So when I have it at screen, and what I can do is I can play with the saturation. And I can try and get that color the way that I want that color to be, which is that goldish brown. And once I get that, you know, I'm cool with that. Once I get that, I can lower the opacity of this, and then I can start, I can grab a powder brush, and I can change the flow down, and I can kind of get rid of some of this in here, and get it looking to the way that it should, which, you know, should it look anyway? I don't know. It shouldn't really look any way in particular because we're the ones creating this. But I'm going to go back down here and I'm going to bring this up a little bit more. That's looking better. And now, honestly, we're pretty much done. All we have to really do is mess with Brock Lesnar. So what we probably want to do is, where is he? He's right here. Alright, we're going to want to go and we're going to want to add just a crap ton of effects. So first things first, I'm going to sharpen him, and then I'm going to go to camera raw filter, and I'm going to turn the, so this is what it looks like before. I'm going to turn the clarity all the way up to 100, and then I'm going to turn like the texture up to like 23, and that's it for now. That's all I'm going to do for now. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to color balance, and I'm going to clip this to him, and I'm just going to play with it until it looks the way that I want it to look. I don't think it's the midtones that we want. Maybe it's the highlights. So we'll bring that up. Like, that's cool. I'm cool with that. Let's try the shadows. We're getting somewhere. Go back to the highlights and we'll bring that up some more. Now what we'll do is we'll go to selective color. Down here, and we'll click that to him. Go to magentas. That's not doing what we want it to do, so we'll go ahead and get rid of that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to this like purple color here. I'm going to clip it to Brock, and I'm going to hit what do I want here? What do I want? Let's try this. So we can keep it like that. I like that, but I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clip this to Brock, and I'm gonna select the same color here, and I'm gonna paint over his hair. For some reason, his hair is it's black in this design, but that's okay. We can get rid of that. I'm gonna go back to our brush settings though, and Windows. brush settings, turn the scatter down, shape dynamics, turn that off. And we'll go back up here and we'll mess with his hair. And we'll just try to kind of get that to be the way that we want it to be. And honestly, we can just come up here and paint some more black. Oops, I didn't mean to do that on top of that layer. So we'll do that, and then we'll create another layer, and we can just paint over here like that, and then we can bring overlay, bring that down, and yeah. So his hair, I'm not a big fan of what his hair is looking like right now. But either way, I don't also really care. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a solid color like yellow, like this. And then I'm going to hit Control I. And I'm going to select Brock. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure my flow is at 100%. I'm going to make sure my white brush is selected. And I'm going to come down here and I'm just going to paint like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that brighter because I don't like how that's not like super bright. Maybe it needs to be up more. I don't know. And then I'm gonna select Rock again, and then I'm gonna come up in his hair like that. Now I'm gonna flip my brush to black, and I'm going to wait. Was that okay? I want my flow to be 100% for this, and then Control D, flip our brush to black. This time we want the flow to be 50%, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna paint all along this edge, and we're just gonna kind of until it looks the way that we want it to look. We kind of want Brock to have a little bit of this yellow color to him, and I'm cool with that. I think maybe Brock needs some highlights, so we'll go add some highlights. We'll add another camera raw filter, and I'm gonna add more texture. This time I'm gonna add some bit of curves. I'm gonna add some highlights. See how that looks. Might have been a bit too much, so I'll turn it down to like 56%. Still, I think it's a bit too much. I'll do it to like 20%. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to camera raw filter, and I'm gonna add highlights, bring darks down, bring shadows down, and bring lights down, and bring highlights up some more, and just to see what that looks like. It's looking a little funky, but I'm liking the way that it's blending, so I'm gonna bring that down to 44. Yet and still it's looking a little funky. At 27, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer of Brock. I'm going to turn every effect off, and I'm going to clip it to him, and I'm going to hit rasterize layer. I'm going to hit filter, other, high pass, make sure that it's at 10, and then I'm going to click soft light, and I'm going to bring this down to about 47%. It'll just like sharpen it up a little bit, and then what I'm going to do is I'm actually bring that down more. I'm going to add an exposure layer to Rock. So clip this here. I'm going to bring the offset up just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. Like so. To get him not to look as washed out. Or to get him to look more washed out. Okay. Alright. So we have that. Now what we need to do is we need to duplicate this layer, or I mean, no, we don't need to duplicate that layer. You know what, let's duplicate that layer. And then we're gonna clip it to Brock again, and we're gonna bring it above here. We're gonna go to blending options, click color overlay and select like a gray, and then we're gonna rasterize the layer style, change the blend mode to vivid light. And so I don't like how it's that bright. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it darker. Make it darker. And we can see how that looks. That's cool. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zoom in here on this vivid light layer, and we're gonna mess with his eyes. So I'm gonna grab the dodge tool, okay, and I'm gonna just go crazy on his eyes real quick. So it looks cool. Now we need to get the blue coming out, so we'll get the blue coming out. Do is I'm gonna come up here above all this stuff, and I'm gonna create a blue, baby blue layer, and I'm gonna change it to like overlay, whatever, and then I'm gonna hit Control I in here, and I'm gonna grab this soft round brush and make it smaller, make the color white, and then I'm gonna paint inside here, inside his eyes. Can mess with the blend mode when we're done with this. So now we can try like color, and we can maybe try to go for a brighter color. And then we can zoom out and see how that looks, see if that's looking as ice cold as it is on the original design. Maybe his color, his eye color is a bit different. I'm just gonna roll with it like that, and then I'm gonna bring down the opacity and keep it like that. Okay, now we pretty much have this done. We just need to add this final text down at the bottom. So I can come up here and I can just go ahead and start typing. So I believe that text is like Vidius. Text is always the most annoying part of a design, but you gotta do it or you're, no, it's Avener, that's what it is. So we want, oops, go back to that. We want the black, and then we're gonna add a fake italics to it. So let's just go ahead and type, no, you do not want to do that. Okay, let's type Saturday, February 19, 12, 2 spaces, 12, and then I'll just do this, noon ET, and what I'll do here is I'll come over here and make this smaller. That looks about right. And then we'll make this whole thing smaller. And we'll bring this under here. Make it a little bigger, and I'm going to zoom in. Unfortunately, our Brock render is not the best render in the world, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just create a little circle. So I'm going to just make that small little circle for the middle here. Now we have that, and we can zoom out. And so this is the original, and obviously I don't have the, this side over here is not looking particularly beautiful, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna go behind the chamber, and I'm gonna add some darkness. So let me go ahead and do that. Grab this brush, and just kind of add some darkness to it. And then I'm gonna turn that to overlay, and I'm gonna make this bigger. And I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. Just wanted the darkness to be that way. And now I'm gonna go find our flare. Where's our burst? This thing right here. I'm gonna duplicate this. Then I'm gonna bring this over here, and I'm gonna change it to like there. And I'm gonna make this smaller. Make this way smaller. And then I'm gonna duplicate it. And I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna change the blend mode some more. To kind of get that effect that they have going on. About like that. And so that's pretty much the design. It's not perfect. I guess there says Brock Lesnar for some ridiculous reason. It says Brock Lesnar, so I'll just do that in case you guys were wondering how to type Brock Lesnar. And I'm sure you're very aware on how to do that. And I spelled his name wrong, so I just make that a little bigger. Pull that up here, and then I'll fix his last name, Brock Lesnar. We got that. And now I'm gonna tighten the effects on Brock up a bit, because he shouldn't look this worn out. So I'm gonna go to sharpen, and I'm gonna bring that down to 50%, and bring this down right here to 50%, and then I'll bring this. Now I'll keep everything else the same. That's looking better. And now that we have everything, I'm gonna just come up here, and I'm gonna hit Shift Control Alt E, and we have this. We have everything merged together. I'm gonna go to Camera Raw Filter, and I'm just gonna see if we can make this a little better. This time, let's go to basic, and let's bring the vividness up, and let's add some clarity, some texture, and let's go to detail. Let's add some detail, some sharpness. And so I'll roll with this, and then I'll just turn this down to 50%, 51%. I'll click here, I'll turn this to 75%. And then I'm going to add an exposure layer on top of all of this. I'm going to keep it like that, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop it to 50, and I guess I'll drop to like 29%. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a solid color layer of gray, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to noise, add noise, convert to smart object. And then I'm going to do this. I'm gonna bring this down. I want my color to be darker though, so can fix that. Okay, that's better. So we kind of got the noise in there now. Zoom in, you see the noise. Get rid of the noise. And so this is our recreation. It probably took way longer than I was hoping for it to take. Granted, I don't have all their resources, and this isn't really my style of poster, but we did the best that we could. So here's a Elimination Chamber recreation. Hopefully this video was helpful to somebody. Hopefully I didn't waste my time. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that other stuff. Honestly, I'm just trying to help people out. So if this helped, perfect. A lot of people helped me out on YouTube when I was starting out, and so I like to help others out. If there's anything else you'd like to see, let me know. Subscribe, like, comment, all that other stuff. Follow me on Instagram.